Welcome back to another game review. This one is special, kind of, a little bit. This is my gameplay against ABCDEFG, aka somebody that's making an account, probably has multiple of them. Kind of see what happened here. I can tell from the beginning here that I have nothing weird with regards to supply block. That's kind of normal. It's kind of bad at game as a Terran player. And then we get into the later portions of the game where my opponent gets some spell block or supply blocks, some spell blocks. We have a pretty decent game. We're both diamond players according to our MMR at this point. I don't actually know what their real MMR is, if this is their main account, their first account, how many accounts they have. This I have no idea. So I'm simply going from what I see in front of me. You can see that there's some interesting points in the game. This game is really fun to watch. So let's go ahead and get into it. Wait for the game to pop up. I know, always a little glitch when you jump over. I'm going to be primarily focusing on myself. I am primarily a Terran player. I ended up as a Terran in this game. And then, of course, we have our opponent in red as Protoss. So you can see what we're seeing here, ABCDEFG, or the alphabet, and of course myself in blue here. So I go to rally my first SCV over here to grab my supply depot at the wall. Almost exactly on time. If you notice, I hit basically 0. You can see I'm going to hit a supply block. This is normal. I don't wait for that. As a Terran, it's something we all see. Protoss is sending over a probe very, very early. This is kind of thing that happens when they play against random. They want to make sure things are they place things correctly. If they're against Terran, that they don't overplace too far forward, and if they're against Protoss, they're not getting cannon rush. Cheesy goodness that happens. Build order is to be barracks into refinery. You saw me do that. I sent an SCV over to line constructing SCV. No big deal. I'm sending this other one over just in case they decide crazy. And of course, I want to scout because I don't know exactly what he's going to do. Obviously, he has decided to go with a gateway off the hop. By the way, if I do start to fade in and out, I did place my mic in a very different location, historically speaking. So just kind of be aware that I'm sorry that what's happening. If it doesn't sound as good as it did before, etc., etc. I also modified my camera a little bit, hopefully with the background suppression. Scouted see a Nexus first, see a gate going down, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a command center as soon as I get my orbital completed and a Reaper. Against Protoss, you don't necessarily need to go Reaper. I like going Reaper simply because it's a skill check. Make sure that they have a gate, cyber core down. Make sure they get their appropriate defenses, and of course, I was being a jerk. Blocking the refinery, slowing down my expansion just ever so slightly, but preventing them from the gas that they so desperately want. My Reaper, if I control it perfectly and do really well, it should go right across the map. So this is me misrallying. I usually have it rallied across the map. This is a simple mistake on my behalf. This is very well and doing well. I canceled to prevent the loss in 75 minerals. Something that you could do to make it so that you are being more efficient with your money. You don't necessarily need to refinery block in any shape or form. I just did that because a little bit. I just want to try and mess with them a little bit. Try and slow down whatever they decide to go for out of the gateway. Make it so that their tech that's behind their gateway is slowed down as well. And you can see they oversaturated, making a mistake themselves. And my Reaper gets in. He is going to go and try to speed because I have slowed down his production. Remember, this should have been here much, much earlier, talking about 10 seconds or so. Because it just sat there at the beginning, which is a big mistake. It cost me probably 2 pro kills. And seeing a Stalker first means that I'm going to have to throw down a bunker or be ready to deal with whatever he's going to throw down there. I do send my Reaper through to see how much he's mining down in his natural. He did expand earlier than I did. I'm ahead because of the pushback. I'm at home building 3 rats in a factory. You can see we're keeping our money low. This is something that you like to see, etc. This Stalker is checking to see where my Reaper went, hoping that he's going to catch me out, which I got lucky enough to be in the perfect position to pass him by in the night. And completely unintentionally, like I literally just did that luckily enough and then I don't control my Reaper. This is me being busy at home, macroing, paying attention to all that stuff. Trying to make sure I get the bunker up. This also, I think, brings back the Stalker. Yep, he decides to fight me. And I don't know why I jumped down. Had I run in, without losing the Reaper. I think I actually didn't control it in any way, shape, or form. Again, minor mistakes, not a big deal. And I have completed my expansion. A little slow on continuing to build workers and rallying into my natural. You can see that I'm going to go with a 3-1-1. That means I'm going to have 3 barracks, a starport, and a factory. The misordered, right? Your factory, starport from 1, and then the 1. I'm getting stem as fast as I can. I'm going to swap these over and get double meta. I prevented the stalker from getting any information on turns. This is pretty normal information that they should have anyways. Much later, because I've delayed them, and of course the positions themselves. They have given themselves an Artosis power, eventually giving themselves protection, giving observers as soon as they can. I don't think I slapped too many observers in this game, but we'll see what happens. Continue to rally my units down below. I am not protecting myself in any way, shape, or form from being called in. I need to get some Marines up here, maybe like a handful here. You can see, oh, I get down my tech lab, and I get medevac coming out, and I think it's a little bit slow. You want to have them both coming out at the same time. That's the whole point of doing the reactor swap. So this is a macro mistake for myself. In addition to that, I want to have the next 2 medevacs built as fast as possible. You can see that I'm not doing that. This is misordering of construction, so another minor mistake. On the plus side, I do get the boost out, get going real fast. There's been a third. At this point, I'm trying to make it so I do have my stim and make sure that I have more medevacs on the way, more Marines on the way. At this point, I could probably salvage this bunker, unless I want to make sure I'm defending against a frontal attack when I'm also being aggressive. By the time I get to a tank or something along those lines, being on the high ground, right here somewhere, maybe a little bit further back, or getting ready for a jump in. Putting it literally right here would actually be a really cool spot because it's really hard to hit. It's hard to click because you have the starport overhang, etc. I do drop all of my Marines outside of the medevac, inside of his base, in a place that he can see, which is really painful because I'm going to do a lot of damage here. You can see I immediately do damage. He pulls back, sees it, pulls back his stalkers. Should have committed, in my opinion. I proceed to then cause havoc within his production by putting under his pylons. I see the Colossus pull out. He does kill 1 Marine. It's kind of an okay play. I'm using the high ground, low ground to my advantage, trying to make sure I get as much damage as possible. Maybe minor mishap on my controls. Should have probably picked up and done everyone again instead of trying to fight through that. As you can see, I lost my medevac Marines. At home, I have another medevac series ready to drop. I should be switching over to Vikings now. You can see I already have. You can see the production tab up here. I'm grabbing more starports because I see that he's going Colossi. I did see what else he has. I'm going to be a little bit annoying, I believe. Yep. Just making sure that he's taking the expansion. I'm trying to keep him at home, just generally seeing. Ooh, that's a nice spot for him. I don't think I expected that, but you can see that he pulled everything back, so he's got a big F2 problem. I'm still at home, not producing workers, not getting another expansion. This is a lot of money to not getting expand on. I think I'm just really worried about his Colossus as soon as I can see it. You can see that I lose a lot of Marines because Marines are very fragile against Colossi. See, I lost some here. Vikings coming across, just misrallying, miscontrol all over the place. Do pick up, look like I'm going to push into his natural. I think he F2s into there. I see his stalkers and go away. Continue to not produce SCVs. This is my own fault here. I'm blocking his mining time, just being problematic in general. And he's doing a good job of keeping things alive. I'm not attacking anywhere I need to be attacking. I'm not creating additional pressure. I have all of these units right here doing stuff. I have this unit that can do stuff here. I do stop this, which is great. So I'm in 3 positions of attacking the stalker. That has the super battery. Note that that I'm able to get through enough damage. Now, Colossus is starting to get by my Vikings. My other drop that's over here, I pull too far back. These units are attacking. So I'm gonna all over him, just causing all kinds of headaches. So far, I have not killed this base. I did reduce it. I lose his back. He did a blink. But I'm over here slowing down his income, killing off workers, causing him all kinds of trouble. Again, at home, what am I doing that I should be doing? I should have a command center. I have 1,000 minerals. And instead of building additional barracks, another command center, anything to make it so that this game, I can close it out and guarantee this win, because I'm very far ahead. Oh, misrouted on me. But just to anything to just like control and win this match, I haven't done to make it so that it's going to be 100% victory. Great Liberator position. We get several kills. I am going to lose the Liberator for it, but you don't always need to micro it away. Kill another probe that's over here. He's doing a recall. I pick up all of my stuff because it's really annoying. He has to bring all this stuff out here, and I go into his main, which this is just problematic for him. I'm just abusing the positions. I end up losing the Liberator just across this stuff. Eke out all of his energy, continue to kill workers. This is great for me. Just a little bit of extra damage here and there should be pulling out of here. You can see that he has left his stuff. My other Liberator here getting several kills. His losses are... I can't remember. Control R, there it is. So you can see I've killed 35 workers. I am just decimating his income, continuing to abuse him as we're going. But I'm not actually able to do any damage that's really putting him out of the game. I'm slowing him down significantly, but not doing anything to really end the game. He blinks in, kills my medevac that was landed, which is quite amusing. I have my Liberator here, all of my Marines. Go and kill this Colossi. Again, Marines are very weak against Colossi. This is me being bad. My Liberator cleaning up workers, but he's so oversaturated it just gets him back into the saturation. I completely forget about this group of units here. Should be dropping and using that, but not doing that. I do get a bunch of Marines out, but again, he's still got another. He's got 4 bases. I then notice that I have not expanded. Realize, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Build a bunch of barracks, expand heavily, and then continue to try and do some damage. Again, I've hidden these medevacs over here. I'm just not doing anything. Liberator coming in, trying to do some damage, continue to pressure my opponent. He's still on 4 bases. I'm just getting 4 bases. I'm nowhere near saturation, oversaturated. I have been dropping in any of my mules, not really using my scans effectively to find out where his army is. I'm trying to distract, doing things by like sending this Liberator over here, and shutting down what I can on the inside of the base. You can see that he's using a super bad area overcharge, pulling his army back into position, all those other things. Really stretching his ability to defend. If I was really on top of stuff, as you can see, I'm dropping mules, I would have actually completely beat this player by simply getting my macro under control, making sure that I'm building enough, getting all of the upgrades, continuing to produce things, making sure I have enough income everywhere, versus spreading it out like I have done most of this game. End up attacking his Immortal that he's starting to build. I think he's getting the inkling that I'm going to start building other units. I do shut down all of the workers on this base. I go into his main. Looks like I'm going to go land or do some damage there in that way. I take my Marines, send them home. I should have saved my tank, but we all make mistakes, right? Use Vikings, landed Vikings to kill a cannon. Have destroyed this building. But this is him losing more workers, more income. His income is significantly below mine at this point. His army, again, I'm pulling him in multiple directions. I attack here, and he's got to run all the way around, and that's just a really long run for him to deal with. So this is great positioning on my behalf, but at home, I'm not macroing as hard as I should be. I need to mule, I need to be producing more stuff, I need more things, just in general, to beat this player. He goes and gets another new 4th base, trying to make his own out for him. I do find these 2 medevacs really late, and I do drop in on the back of his natural. And then we get a big fight in the middle, I think, happens. And what I did was I fought from the inside of the choke, and he just got a lot more the ability to shut down my units appropriately. Like, he killed off all my medevacs, killed off my units, all that kind of stuff. So I'm now retreating home, trying to survive against his attack. My attack over here isn't fully engaged. It did do some damage, but not enough to actually make it so that he's out, because he's now going to take out bases when he sees it. Take out one of his Colossi, he's going to take out another one. send in my units a little aggressively, just simply because I'm trying to get some damage done. Obviously, pulling away my duels as best I can. His Colossi are out here destroying my Orbital. I'm losing like just not paying attention. Again, workers aren't being produced. I lose a command center. He, at the same time, is getting up a command center, but I have completely denied the base here. Medevac not doing what it's supposed to do, just being annoying in general, but not actually ending the game in any way, shape, or form. These workers are going to go out. I sent a worker way out here. I have a lot of money, so what am I going to do to make it so that I kill that Archivus' pylon that we set up much earlier in the match? Burn through a lot of this energy. End up not really doing a great job, but I'm pulling his army all the way home. This is awesome for me, but I did not get more Vikings. I need more Vikings. He's got so many Colossi. 3. I just don't have it there. And did do a good job of keeping his attention. He is F2ing. And then I go back out trying to get out, but I should have just continued to amass an army, get those, get that expansion that I've hidden way out here up, get these workers doing stuff, make it so that I'm actually in a situation where I'm managing my opponent and doing damage appropriately. This Liberator goes out looking for more bases to take on. My army, I don't know quite what I was doing here. My controls is actually great. Misclicked a couple of times. We killed earlier. It didn't focus down the weak Colossi. Just hit one of the ones with full shield, full health. Looking for bases. I'm like, oh, cool. And he's pulled his army back. I've done 5 kills here. Killed a couple of units. He's going to F2 his army yet again over to that area because I have a Liberator. I am able to pull him back and forth. Grab another command center. Not exactly doing a really good job of resaturating. Creating problems again for him. He has, I am just all kinds of annoying. Micro is great. Getting upgrades, he's getting upgrades. My upgrades are extraordinarily late. His are also out of position. Number-wise, I'm getting ahead or on par with him. I continue to not produce enough Vikings. This is the problem when you see Colossus. The other thing of it is he needs to, if he were to get something where he can handle what's going on, you can see him trying to pressure into his base. He does a recall, grabs most of his army for 3 units. This is relatively undefended. He does a full recall. All of those units just simply to have him pick up again. Just annoying as can be. And then he F2s the rest of his army. He's just not able to handle what I'm doing back and forth, doing drops. This is a player that does not handle it. This is very much a diamond player who doesn't know how to group his army selection by using his hotkeys. You can see that he doesn't even have hotkeys selected in any way, shape, or form. Versus myself, or yeah, he doesn't. He has his Templar on hotkey, everything else F2, while I have my production and all that kind of stuff on hotkeys. I'm now starting to mine in the hidden bases and have a little bit of defense. It's continuing to pull him home, just be as literally annoying as possible. In every way, shape, or form. Killing off things that are important, trying to make it so he can defend better with this army. Again, dropping, doing annoying things, creating havoc inside of his base. Right now, he has only 50 workers, I have 46. I am below where my worker count should be, of course. And he is, this is a mistake. I should have dropped over here, killed that base, and just been, continue to do annoying things. But, as he is F2ing, he sends his entire army back out against him. And I'm, again, still fighting for doing damage to his income, but I need to be ending the game. I should not be trying to kill workers at this point. I should be trying to kill production, kill bases, etc. He grabs a 5th. I'm on my 5th, but I don't have full saturation on my gases. I don't have full saturation on my minerals. Again, I'm continuing to pull him around. I see that he can't deal with that, and so I want to continue the pressure on him. Accidentally grabbed an SCD while I was doing this. You can see that I'm continuing to do that, the same aggressive stuff. Not enough worker production, not enough production of different units, not positioning my massive army in a situation or a way to make it so that I can really abuse what I'm doing, set them up in a way that makes it really hard for what I have. But I am, of course, being just annoying in general, over and over and over. Not being able to see the space is not so hot. You can see them building another command center, just trying to pull it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But unfortunately for me, I'm not actually hitting any infrastructure. I'm not ending any income. Primarily the important stuff. You can see I grab a couple of his Templar, which is super value add, as they say. I do send all of my army across the map, but I don't keep it all together. I send it all like to a weird place. I think it was actually right here. My liberators get thrown out. I have big army. I don't have them in siege. I just not in a great position with this. You can see I'm hitting other liberators on him. He decides to pull his whole army over here to deal with this, and I just don't pounce. I do move up one of my tanks, but he did pull back, so he realistically speaking did the right thing. I also did the right thing by having this massive army. Again, I didn't get enough Vikings to do it this Colossi. I just did not read his army correctly, did not have the correct unit composition. At this point, the game is very much in his favor. I lost a significant amount of army. Let's see how much his value is versus mine. And it had to be with the fact that I just didn't have the Viking count to kill his Colossi. So he simply walks across the map and then proceeds to crush me, if I remember correctly. I do what I can to proceed to extend the game, getting more income, making sure I have the stuff to make its value back. Pull him into my what I can to defend, and of course I don't have enough to actually fight the army. As too many Colossi, too many Stalkers. I re-rally everything in the back of my base, continue to try and correct unit composition to handle this army. Lots of Stalkers, lots of Colossi. You can see 19, 20, 22, 32. Oh my god, 10 damage, or kills. And none of these are able to completely shut him down. So he's just simply going to try and push into me. I somehow am saying, hey, no, you're going to hang out. You're going to have to fight this. My Vikings are pushing him back. My tank doing all of the work in the world. I have now pushed him away. He has found one of my bases, which is the core of my income, and unfortunately, I don't have enough to do what he's doing. And then I have this other base over here, this other base over here, this base over here. He already identified this base, so he's going around the map and gonna clean up all the income that I have literally right now. Simply shutting down what I have, and I am gonna do what I can do to slow down his army and destroy it, but I just don't know if it's gonna be possible. I try desperately to start teching up with the units that I'm getting. I don't need to get ghosts. He doesn't have the units to deal with that appropriately. I thought this was his farthest expansion out on all his bases. I do get Colossus 3 of the 4 immediately, which is amazing for me. Unfortunately, I lose the vast majority of my army. For the vast majority of the army that I had remaining, I lift over my command center the desperate attempt to get additional income because I have 15 units. 72. At this point, I should have tapped out. I clearly wasn't able to end the game when I attacked the space. I wasn't able to keep him under control long enough, and he proceeds to run into the corner because he knows that I've hidden some bases around. I don't have the income to heal up, and of course, he shuts me down. So, lessons learned from this game. Make sure that you have the appropriate army for your enemy's composition. If you see they're going Colossus, or you're seeing them, and I started to go Liberators expecting him to transition over to, oh my god, the balls, what are they called? Disruptors, that's what I'm looking for. And he just never did. He just continued to build Colossi, and I just did not continue to build Vikings to handle that. That was major mistake number 1. Number 2, make sure you expand on time, continue to get your upgrades on time, things of those natures. Do not get supply blocked. You can see I got really hampered earlier, or right around when I was very, very much in the lead with the amount of income and damage that I was doing. And I pooled a lot of resources when I did that. And unfortunately for me, while I was doing a lot of damage, doing a really good job of controlling him, I wasn't able to actually shut the game out. If you look at the heat map, we were all over the place. We did everything everywhere. It's a very, very crazy game with regards to what occurred. There's a couple of bases, this base here and this base here, that I didn't even realize he had this base, and this base I never took because I just went straight to the corner. Stat-wise, you can see that he lost 64% of his workers. He produced 213 probes. That is such an amazing number produced against how many he lost. And I just did not replace my worker count. I only built 67 total and lost 63 of them. And it's very obvious once you get further into the game to see what happened. And it was one of those situations where I had the game in my hands and I let it slip through just because I'm learning, I'm getting better, but this is one of those things where you kind of see how that all pans out and plays out. Things that that he did very, very well. He continued to produce workers constantly. He continued to expand, relatively speaking, constantly. Things that he could have improved, he or she could have improved on, excuse me, was to make sure he's on F2 army moving. We're in Diamond. It's time to start learning how to deal with multiple groups. Start. You don't have to be perfect with it. Just start with it, right? You need to start using hotkeys. There's no hotkey usage as well. In addition to that, there's no run-bys. There's no like, here's like 5 zealots. Let me send them around the edge of the map to run into your base and hit your mineral line, and you're not ready for it. So there's no counterplay. It was just, here's my big ball of army, and let me walk across the map. Let me move it from this base to this base, trying to take out the drop of 16 Marines or 20 Marines or whatever it was that were in each one of those locations, or 4 Marines and a Marauder, or 2 Marines and a Marauder, which was very painful to watch from my perspective. I was like, ooh, this isn't what you want to have happen. And then he did eventually start to get an idea and say, oh, he's got Medivacs. Let me get some Phoenix so I can shut those down. Additionally, sorry, I did not mean to hit that. There was early game, there shouldn't be a supply block for Protoss. So maybe look at your build order ever so slightly and tweak it so that you actually have that extra pylon a little bit earlier. I know that I did stuff to disrupt you, specifically building the refinery, and then having that Reaper come in. I know that was annoying. I know that makes it so you're distracted from what you're doing, which is like kind of, I look at it and say, how could I have not made that mistake of not building that extra pylon? Everything else I think was good across the board for both players. I definitely had opportunities to improve, and so did my opponent, and that's why we're in the Diamond League. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a good rest of the day.